AdventureReady. Today we have a special show in store. We're going to load out the Adventure Ruckus for a camp trip. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through food bag, sleeping bag, tent situation, clothes. I'm going to show you where everything can go, and then we're going to go on a shakedown trip. So I'm going to kind of show how this is going to carry on an off-road ride. So let's jump right in. I've never used rock straps before. I've always just used regular ratchet straps. So today I'm going to try those. And the key is, this is a dry bag, and what you do is you roll the top down and then you turn this around, and basically you can throw this in water and it's going to float. So this has my clothes in it. This is going to have my winter jacket, and in the jacket I always keep my hat and gloves in the pockets. I've also got a change of clothes. I've got like long underwear type nylon tights, top and bottom for that base layer, change of socks, underwear, t-shirt, and then a second shirt layer also. So I keep all that here. It has to be dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out each bag and just bring you along, and I'm going to pull it out and show you what's in there. So let's start under the seat. So under the seat is basically my food and cooking stuff. So if you open this up, I'm in here. I do keep a first aid kit. So I've always got a first aid kit. You guys saw my previous one. This one's slightly smaller, but let me just go ahead and show you what's in here, because I know always what's in here. This is a little headlamp that takes a AA battery, and there's only 3 functions: on, off, high, low, on and off. Super simple. AA battery, you can find one of those anywhere. Just some extra water cleaning tablets. And then I like to have, I don't know, like 25 feet of paracord. And you can do so many things with this. You can set up an emergency shelter with it. You could make a tourniquet. You could do a lot of things with a little 550 cord. Now, I keep a little lighter and stove in here. I like an Esbit stove. They take forever in cold weather to heat up your water. So let me kind of show you guys. It'll fit in the back in your back pocket like a deck of cards. And man, it's just such a cool little thing. I've used these many times camping. It's not awesome. Well, it is awesome in a way. But what it does, it's a little metal rectangle, and when you fold it out like this, you can set a little metal cup on top, and then these chemical tablets, you just put one of them in there. I keep 4 in there. You open it up, put it in there, and then you light it with your lighter. So you can actually, some people keep their lighter in there with it. I like 4 tabs and then the lighter separate. But you can see, it leaves some charring. But you put your cup on there, which I'll show you next, something like this. And this has 16 ounces, which is plenty for a mountain house meal. So what you can do is you put the tab in, and I like to actually put tin foil. I keep a little bit of tin foil. I'll put over the top. It just helps it cook a little bit faster. You don't have to do that, but it just kind of makes it, you'd be surprised when it's below freezing. You're just going to take 2 tablets to get your water hot enough to even boil. Always keep some wet wipes in there just for cleaning up at camp, washing your hands, that kind of thing. And then my stove, very low tech. I literally paid $6 on Amazon for this. And it was one of those lightning deals that I couldn't pass up. It's like, for $6, I'm going to try it. So what we have here, I think they're called rocket stoves. And it just goes right on the butane canisters. This is not my favorite size. So you can see how big this is, and the little stove fits on top. There's a size smaller than this that's better, but this is what Walmart usually has on hand. So it's fine. You just screw it on, and you lose like a little bit. Screw it on, and then swing the little legs all the way around it, like this. It's not a big surface. And then you just tip the little feet outward. Again, not a huge surface area, but it's enough for your cup. So what you do, you fill your cup with water, set it on there, and then you open the valve here, just twist that open. It even has a little piezoelectric starter. So it starts up. And you guys want to see it? I know you do. Let's do it. So you just open it up from here. You'll hear it hissing. Hear it hissing? There you go. You can turn it down, turn it up, and then just shut it. Turns on. So it works pretty well. It heats up your water for a mountain house meal, and I like to kind of have some tin foil just to get some of that heat in. But that's my stove situation. And let me finish my little emergency kit while I'm here. This is just an old knife. Keep a little pocket knife in there. I keep spare batteries for that headlamp that I just showed you. Always have an emergency blanket. So if someone's going into shock, if you need an emergency shelter, if you have a little fire, you can put this behind you as a reflector to get the heat back in. There's just a million reasons to have an emergency blanket. I always keep a bandana. There's a million things for this too. You can use it as a bandage, you can stuff it in a wound, you can pre-filter water by pouring your water through this before it goes into your bottle just so it doesn't gum up your filter as much. Always have a trash bag. If you could almost use this as a shelter. You could use the paracord to set up a shelter. You could fill it with leaves and lay on this to get a little bit of insulation from the ground. Make it a poncho. Gorilla tape. I love Gorilla tape. I put it over a little broken pencil piece in case you need a pencil to write something. You can start a fire with Gorilla tape. It's just awesome. You can close up a wound. And then last thing is just another little poncho. So poncho, trash bag, emergency blanket are in all my kits. Headlamp, paracord, extra water and lighter, water filter lighter. And then in this one I keep the little Esbit stove. Now we're gonna bring you guys under the seat. This is that Amazon bag that just zips, fits underneath the Ruckus seat perfectly. In the front, keep your smart water bottle. And that actually screws onto your water filter, the Sawyer water filter. So let's go ahead and see. I already showed you the stove and the cup. And then here's our camp fuel. And then for the Sawyer water filter, this is the bag. You put your dirty water in this and you squeeze it through the filter into your water bottle. Here's again, that little first aid kit that I always keep. I've got a bunch of food in here now. So let me show you some of this food. I keep the 3-liter Camelback in here, and then I'll fill it up when I get to camp. I really don't want to travel with that much water, so I'll leave it empty until I get to camp and then fill it up through the filter. So I've got plenty of food. Just some tuna. This is some quick protein, 17 grams of protein really quick. These say they're for 2 people or 2 servings, but they are not. This is a single serving meal from Mountain House. And usually I like to have one of these for dinner. So this is a chicken teriyaki. It's plenty when you fill up your 16-ounce water. It's basically all it takes, so it's perfect. So I've got 2 Mountain House meals here. That's 2 nights. And then MREs. Now look, MREs are not delicious unless you're hungry. And when you are hungry, they are so delicious. So you think rib-shaped barbecue flavor pork patty, that sounds gross. It's actually not. It's delicious. These come with a heating, you put them in this little box, put some water in it, and it actually heats itself. That's why it's a meal ready to eat. It has desserts, there'll be candy in there. It has utensils ready to go. Man, when you want a quick lunch, you can eat on this all day. So this is great, tons of calories. Keep 2 of those in there. So this is enough for me for at least a 3-day, a full weekend trip. This is plenty of food for me, and I eat a ton. So here I have marinara sauce with meatballs. That's actually delicious. Okay, so those are my big meals. I've got lunch and dinner for 2 solid days with that, and then just some extra food. For breakfast, I like to use my stove and just heat up some oatmeal. So some Quaker oats, easy, fast, no big deal. It's nice to have something warm in the morning so it's cold. Here's some Builder's bars and like some other David, whatever. I like to just have these when I'm riding to eat along the trail. And then just a couple Gatorades. So that's it. So that's enough food for me for 3 days to be comfortable, and that's all I'll need. One other feature of this bag that goes in the Ruckus is it comes with a shoulder strap. So if you wanted to have a bear bag, you could just take this bag out, put it in some kind of, another bag if you wanted to, and sling it over a tree, but it acts like it could be your bear bag also. One thing I forgot to show, this isn't just the bag, the actual Sawyer water filter is in here. So I just put a rubber band on it. I'll pull this off. I'll show you how this works. I actually have a new one I'm going to use, but for now, I use this. And what you do is you put the bag, you screw it into the threading, and you squeeze the bag, and then it comes out clean on this end. So in theory, you could even stick this in the ground and use it like a straw, or you can filter it through the bag, and then you can just carry dirty water with you and filter it as you go and drink out of this. If we were wondering where I got that perfect rubber band, it's the one that comes around broccoli in your produce section. When I bought these pannier bags on Amazon, I wasn't sure how committed I was to camping off the Ruckus. So I just got these bags. They were under $40. They're cheap. They're not very waterproof. The zippers are cheap and they're going to break. But I didn't know, as an experiment, I didn't know how into this I was going to be. So I just bought some cheap ones to try it out. So here's this double zipper. You can see this right here is expanded. Usually this is much smaller. It expands out this extra several inches to give you more room for your stuff. So this double zipper is nice, get you in, and this is gonna be my tent. So in the tent, I also keep my camp chair. Now this is controversial because it has weight, but man, when you get to camp and having a chair is such a nice luxury. It is worth the weight and the extra volume that it takes up. You won't regret having a camp chair, even though it's kind of heavy and chunky. Here's my two-person tent. This is not a great tent. It is, it's from Amazon. I'll kind of pull it out a little bit. I take everything apart though. Let me show you how I do this. I put the poles in first. So here's the poles. I put the poles in, and then I just stuff the rest of the tent in around it. If you're interested in this tent, it's not a great tent. It's just a tent. It does the job, so it's fine. Now, so I keep my tent and chair on this side. This is going to be my sleeping bag, so, and pad. So when I come in this side, I keep it in a dry bag, just like the one for my clothes that I keep on top. Here's another dry bag. And then the sleeping pad doesn't have to be in a dry bag because it'll dry quickly. So I still use the Static V from, was it Climate? Yeah, with KLY. It's not insulated, but in the summer, who cares? So it's super small, super light. I'm actually looking to upgrade to a more insulated sleeping pad, but anyway, for now, it's fine. And then I just stuff my cheap Amazon sleeping bag down in that dry bag. And so it's sleeping in this side, tent and chair in this side, food underneath the seat. And then on the very top is my clothes, and I keep that in a dry bag. I bring this into the tent with me, along with, and the food's gonna go in a bear bag hanging up. Let's take a look at the final bag. This little Chase Harper barrel bag in the front. I keep an Israeli, I think it's called an Israeli bandage. It kind of acts like a tourniquet. And then I also just keep a cell phone charger, a little USB cell phone charger. But under this, I keep an actual tourniquet. And the reason is, you know, motorcycles are dangerous. If you're bleeding significantly, you really need a tourniquet. So I keep Celox, I keep gloves in case it's somebody else we're working on. And then here's a tourniquet. This is actually a pretty decent tourniquet. And then I also keep gauze and something to stuff a wound with. So if there's a gaping wound, you can sprinkle the Celox on it to expand it and try to stop the bleeding that way. And then you put the tourniquet on high and tight. So it'd be like up towards the groin or up towards the armpit. If there's a gaping wound, you'll want to stuff it with some gauze and then tightly wrap this around it. And then obviously you put your tourniquet on first and then address the wound. But that's what I keep in the front there. I've got these rock straps. They have a loop on them and you send them through their own loop on each side. So this one has a loop, you see it loops, you pull it through itself, and then you just strap them together like this. So you put those two ends together and cinch it down. This actually looks pretty good. You can see it's kind of elastic, so it's not extremely tight, but you can just pull it tighter and it'll cinch it tight. And then I've borrowed some of my wife's ponytail holders just to hold the extra length, and I'm going to tuck them under like this so they don't flap in the wind. So the same thing on this side. It's pretty tight, You just tuck it under. Now let's go for a ride. Here's a little walk around. The bags aren't too wide in the back. You can still see the blinkers even with the panniers on. I like that this isn't too high up, so it's not like a camel trying to get on and off of it. You can still swing your leg over it really easily. Let's go for a ride. Start it up. So quiet. Fuel lights on. Nope, we're good. Yes. All right, we're on the Ruckus. It doesn't feel that heavy right now. So I'm going about 20. Perfect weather for riding a Ruckus. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera around now so you guys can see where I'm going. Ooh, someone's been in here with a side-by-side. It's really rutted out. Tires feel great, the knobbies. Yeah, so far the weight is no problem. Let's go this way. This Ruckus is so much fun. So here's the Ruckus. We just had a major deep mud situation, but we're gonna probably ride up in here, and then we'll probably also go where this trail heads up the mountain this way. Let's just do a little exploring. All right, friends, let's go for a ride. So we're going, 10 miles an hour right now, just on a nice little trail. And let me turn you around so you can see the trail more. Well, it seems like you've got a pretty good view of the mirror. I wish you didn't have that. So here's the quad lock. So I just have that mounted. That's why when you guys are seeing the mirrors, because I just have the phone mounted on the quad lock pointing out, but you can kind of see the windshield, 24 volt, and then turn you around. Still see everything is situated. The water bottle didn't fall out. I've got that cinched in. Bags are still tight. Everything looks good so far. I just had to kickstart it, and the bags are not in the way. So I was able to just kickstart it easily, one kick. Bags are fine. Let's ride. All right, we're heading downhill again. Feet are on the pegs, not standing yet. I mean, that's not a little rock, but navigate through all this. Let me get you guys off the mount so you can see the trail a little bit better here. So just kind of going through the woods. If you look closely, you can see the trail. It's just covered in leaves also. Let's show you the rest of the woods. That's where we've been, around there. Let's keep going. So you see like little things like, you can see that log that we're going to cross right there. That little log right here, it looks like nothing in the video, but it's, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches off the ground, and the Ruckus just hops right over this stuff like it's nothing. So we're going to check our on-road performance now, see how much slower it is. So nice today. So I'm going about 20 right now. Let's get this thing up to highway speed though. Squeaky brake. Great, let's go. So I'll keep you guys updated on the speed. About 20. I'm wide open throttle right now, feet on the pegs. 30 right now. I'm 34, which isn't bad for all the extra weight we have. All right, we're Full throttle, a little bit uphill. Going 20 right now. 25. Let's go ahead and turn in this neighborhood. Nice. Well, the gear has not budged. It's been very comfortable, very easy to ride. Take a left here. Going 30 right now in a little neighborhood. Very nice. All right, I think that's a good shakedown run. Now it's time for the word of encouragement. This comes from Joshua 1:9. God said to Joshua when he was going to take the Israeli people into the promised land, he told him to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that's so encouraging because when God gives us a mission, when he gives us something to do, he wants us to be strong and courageous. He told us also not to be afraid or discouraged. And there's a reason, is that he's going to be with us wherever we go. So thanks for being with me this week. We'll see you next time.